What's up, guys? I got the honor of playing Operation Tenfold Pursuit early. So today we're going to be talking about all the changes and just kind of talking over some of the gameplay that I had. And yeah, we'll get into it. So, Thatcher Remaster. Honestly, it's kind of crazy. He kind of functions like IQ in a way. You can see gadgets on your, like, the scope thing on this little bazooka launcher, and you can, it has a 10-meter range. You can shoot through concrete walls. It goes through everything for 10 meters, and you can see what it is once you zap something down. Did Thatcher need this remaster? I don't know, but honestly, it makes it pretty fun to use, and he has a lot of uses of this gadget. He has 6 shots altogether, and as we go through, they did change how a lot of the breaching works in Siege, which we're going to go over. Thatcher also got a new DMR, and that DMR is on several different operators, such as Knock, which is insane, bro. Like, Knock having a DMR is crazy. Ibana has the DMR. I think Capitao has it as well, and a couple other operators. So, the biggest changes with the breachers, let's go through each and every one. So you have Ace. Ace is now a 3 armor. He is a slow clunker, but he has flashbangs. So slowing him down a little bit, but making him a little bit better in terms of the breaching scenario with, like, the flashbangs. After you open up the wall, you can actually do something with it. I don't hate that. They made Ace a little bit worse, but we're gonna go through the other ops, and they all got better. Everything else got better. So Maverick, you no longer need to reload his gas canister on his torch. You can just do a continuous beam. But as we go through this, you're going to see Athena and I test out how, like, the Hibana trick, the Mav trick thing, you know, when you do it in the middle, no, you're going to have to cut open an entire wall if you want to actually open up said wall. But Maverick got grenades, and you don't have to reload his torch, which is pretty cool. Oh, also Thatcher, and look at that, you can just EMP. Yeah, you can also Cade castles, which is just insane now. That's weird, but Thatcher is able to counter that pretty easily. It'll get everything in that radius right there. So you got Thermite now. Thermite, instead of having 2 exothermics, he is now going to have 3, as well as a secondary shotgun. His gadget works a little weird with Mute now, because Mute did get a lot of changes, but we're going to talk about Mute a little bit later. And then you have Hibana. Hibana, you no longer have to reload the Kairos. You can just shoot them all, like, quickly and activate it whenever you want. So you can just kind of get them down a little bit faster. And Hibana is also going to get a DMR, which is, you know, it's pretty nice. The DMR that we're talking about is the DMR that it kind of feels like Brava's DMR in a way. Just 62 damage. It's pretty good. It's the one I'm using right now on screen. It's a pretty good DMR. Alright. The biggest change with Mute. Mute is a 2-speed, 2 armor, which is pretty great. We're going to do a lot of Mute tests on operators, so I'm not going to touch too much on Mute right now, but we are going to be doing a lot of Mute tests later in the video. And yeah, so let's just focus on what's going on in the video right now. Those are all the biggest changes that I have seen, that I've played through. Honestly, it's pretty interesting. Oh, and one more massive thing is you have a pistol ADS change. It, like, instead of, like, having, like, a pistol basically touching your nose, it's, like, out and extending from your arm. It doesn't, like, do that weird zoom out feature, which is going to catch a couple people a little off guard first time using, but it makes sense. You'll also be able to do predictions in the esports tab instead of having to go on the website. So here we're just, like, testing the map modernization maps. So you had Skyscraper and Theme Park got modernized, and then you're going to have a Fortress rework that's going to be in ranked as well as Pro League. So you're going to have, you know, a couple new maps kind of floating around. Skyscraper looks amazing, by the way. I just look at the lighting outside. Now, regarding the anti-cheat, Shield Guard updates are going to be doubled to 2 updates per week. And they're going to have improvements to data-driven bans. And they're trying to work on recoil sheets as well as macros and whatnot. And getting those banned out as well. But, you know, this is all just... We'll see it in action, I guess.
You're gonna EMP it? You're gonna go for wall?
Here we're trying to counter the wall getting opened, wall denial, bandits, all fun stuff. We have Thatcher, the Maverick, the Thermite. Same thing as always on that end. Another change is Aruni's Surya gates will no longer automatically be turned back on after being hit with an EMP. You'll have to shoot it after it's disabled to turn it back on. So yeah, let's talk about ranked quote-unquote 3.0 real quick. So they are going to be changing up how matchmaking works basing off the highest ranking member in your squad. So they do know that the ranked matchmaking is a little bit of a problem at higher elo. So they are trying to work on that. So that is good. I'm not exactly entirely positive how it's going to work in practice, but I do know that it was mentioned and will be worked on. Here we're on the new Fortress map. I haven't played Fortress in forever, what it feels like, but honestly, the map itself wasn't too bad. Definitely feels like a maze and a labyrinth. Definitely need to have a plan. You can't just wander around the map because you're going to be wandering into a lot of hidey holes. Oh yeah, T-Hunt is back. A little remastered. You can just kind of... It kind of feels a little bit like Target Drill. It's called Clear House. They will slightly roam around and shoot back on harder difficulties. So I actually played this game mode and I was actually surprised on like how much more I liked it than how it felt before. You are able to ping if you can't find that last guy, so you can just destroy it and just move on with the next round. If you die, you can instantly respawn. Not a problem. You just keep going. So like, I definitely recommend turning on the hard difficulty, because even if you die, you can just respawn. If they're killing you on advanced anyways, like chances are you probably would have died in that situation anyways. So it's probably good to practice on the harder difficulty. So here I am just kind of running around with Thatcher's DMR, which is solid. I'm not sure if I prefer this gun over the L8, but I really wanted to give it a shot and see how I felt with it. Now I turned up the difficulty as Mute, running around as a 2-speed with the SMG-11, as I really want to try out how fast, like, you know, Mute being faster, as well as what happens when I actually die. So I'm expecting to have to die now. Yeah, this is definitely a good way of learning the map, because you can see in the top left like how there is a map, which is I don't think I've ever seen that before. And it's not in an actual game, but in the shooting drills, like you can have the map on, so you can maneuver around and actually learn the map fairly quickly. I don't know if that would be a bad thing to have in terms of on an actual game. At least a button, like maybe you can't see like your arrow moving around, but like just being able to pull up the map layout so you can kind of see like what's what. But I don't know. But there is a tool that you can use to kind of figure it out. There's also a lot of different HUD settings you can turn on. Like you can see fire extinguishers or gas pipes that are near you, or cameras that are near you. Just making it a little bit more beginner friendly. And there's going to be a lot of options for your accessibility on your HUD to change colors. You can make your team purple. You can make the other enemy team green, yellow. It's pretty crazy. You're going to see me tinker around with that later in the video. Yeah, there was a lot of things that changed. I don't know if they covered all the concerns that, like, you know, I've seen from like Spoit or whatever on Twitter, but it definitely feels, playing the game, it felt different. It felt a little bit better. Definitely making that DMR meta hard though, with all those DMRs floating around. So there you see that I died. You just respawn. You're just thrown back into it. You can turn the ping on, leave it on the entire time if you want, or you can just do it as really quick just to kind of see which general direction you should go. You can see them in the top left of the map as well. There, I got smoked. Shotgun didn't kill him. I respawn. Got back down. Do a quick ping to look at which direction I need to go, because I am still learning Fortress again. So, try to keep me on target. Then I have to go back up top. Just really letting this part play through because I really want to show the map and how it looks. I'm basically running around the entirety of the map, just like full speed, full send. Alright, so now we are getting into some tests with Athenio. Here, he's trying to Mav torch the top and the bottom, like the rungs on the left and right on both sides, on the top and the bottom, but he wasn't able to get it. Here I'm telling him that, like, just get the corner, but like he's trying not to just Mav it all the way. He's trying to do that part where you get the bottom middle and the bottom top and it'll open it, but it doesn't look like it's going to work that way. You have to cut the entire wall all the way out for it to actually open up the wall, which isn't that big of a deal as Maverick, because I feel like most of us were doing this anyways. But on Hibana, it's a little different. Yeah, so he had to cut the wall the entirety of the way. Yeah, put it up. Now he's Hibana, trying to do that Hibana trick thing, which it did not work in our test. I'm pretty sure that was a correct use of it, but it did not work. That Hibana is a little high. I do tell him that, and he shoots some more, but I still don't think it works. Yeah.
Just to make sure it's like low enough.
That does not work.
You
Now he's trying it as ace, which you think that this might work? No. So the wall has to be opened up all the way. So here we're experimenting with mute. Some of the mute interactions coming up. So anything involving a radio wave is going to be disrupted by the mute jammer. Still affects drones the same way, but like if the exothermic is in a mute jammer, it won't trigger if you have to manually like trigger it. If Thermite himself is standing in a mute jammer, it won't work either. Anything that requires a remote activation is not going to work in a mute jammer. The mute radius was actually increased as well. So we thought maybe you wouldn't be able to thermite over the top, but you are still able to. If you look at the bottom, it's a little close, but yeah. So here we're experimenting with Thatcher's launcher. See if you can see me. He can see me from through the wall, and he is able to turn my gadget off. But through experimenting, we saw that Thatcher's EMP launcher doesn't actually work unless my ability is on. And here you can see how much range this launcher has. It is exactly 10 meters. He keeps walking until you can actually see me on the launcher. Yeah, you can see me, 10 meters. There you go. Solus, he is the launcher again. I see him, he sees me. We're dancing around. He shoots me with the EMP launcher. I can't use my ability anymore. So it comes back, only lasts 15 seconds. Not super crazy on that. Here I see him just walking around with his launcher. So I have him shoot me dead on. It does nothing, doesn't even stop my reticle, and I can still use my ability. It physically has to be on for it to do anything to me. So here, a lot of mute changes, which is insane. It's not affected by Grim at all. It does nothing. The mute jammer does absolutely nothing to the beast. You get spotted the same as you always would. Here, like, we're just really making sure, yep, you just get spotted. No change. Nothing.
Alright, show me.
So here, dope calls are still going to work in the mute jammer. Like, you know, the mute jammer is going to stop the mute Dokkaebi calls. No change on that. This was a crazy one. Air jabs, completely unaffected by mute jammers, which I just was hilarious. I got launched through that wall. That's hilarious. But yeah, that's it. Really is just anything that requires remote activation. The mute jammer is going to intercept it in a way. So here I'm being tracked by Deimos. I can cancel it by stepping into the mute jammer, or if I stand in a mute jammer once it's already active, I will be hidden until it's over. Completely unaffected. Lion call. Yep, you guessed it. Lion call is not affected by the mute jammer whatsoever. Has nothing to do with it anymore. All right, here we are going into some more of the gameplay, playing various ops and just kind of going through the new maps and the new changes and just kind of playing through. Here we're attacking a bomb site.
Playing right there. We just playing right here. Behind that ball.
On Fortress. It's a good little spot. There's a little tuck that we can plant to our left. There's a lot of little hidey holes you can use. But here I'm worried about getting flanked. Skittles, no, those Dangleberries flanks Philippines, but we have the tread. There's Skittles.
Which one?
Four last operator standing.
Oh.
Down to one friendly.
Oh. Oh no. We got this. That is a really strong
Hostile bomb defused.
spot to play.
All right, you can see the ADS change when I'm using that pistol. Like, it's a little weird. Like normally it's like flush up against your face. So you can see that it's kind of further out. A little weird, but it makes sense. It'll just take a little bit of getting used to, and it's fine.
Ally wasn't very challenging, but I found ways to have fun.
I thought he was just leaving there. He was outside.
Op 4 last diffuser has been
Knock
recovered.
DMR, which I think is hilarious. I definitely want to use Knock a little bit more because I hated the FMG, but the DMR is actually really nice.
Diffuser is
Frag
active.
grenade out.
Protected at all costs. Op 4 remaining.
This feels like a completely different operator running around with a DMR, so pretty interesting.
Op 4 neutralized. Mission successful.
You can see me hitting off a castle. So the only way that is going to be able to get open is via melee or anything that's like maybe like a Sophia impact or a grenade. I don't think the Ash Breach will actually be able to destroy it because you know how it goes into a wall and then explodes. I think that it will be destroyed on the castle barricade. So that does make Ash a little bit worse, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm not sure how often I would actually cade a castle in a real match.
One op
I wish you could place like a bandit like in the middle of it, because that would be a little bit more usable, because you do have 4 bandits versus only 2 K claws, and a lot of time I want to use them for the walls. But with Thatcher running around, I mean, K claws are really easy to find as Thatcher. It makes it extremely easy to stop anything that's not a bandit trick. Bandit tricking is still going to be
Op 4 eliminated.
pretty annoying for Thatcher to deal with, but like K-Claws, Thatcher literally completely counters it so dang easy. So here we're playing the modernized skyscraper map now. It just looks a little bit more remastered. It looks pretty cool. Like, look at this room, bro. Oh, sheesh. The colors.
Changing mags.
Show me the color of your energy.
Op 4
And
last
you know we
operator
needed TK Athenia for old time's sakes. Yeah. Yeah, of course. So knock DMR, I'm crouch walking up black staircase. There's a bulletproof behind me, but the way that knock works, you physically can't see me, so they don't think anyone is top black. So I'm just kill one, and I come back and shoot the camera afterwards after I get spotted. Knock DMR, baby.
Reloading.
The only thing I hate about Knock is that she doesn't have a silent step anymore. A little annoying, but like she isn't quiet at all, and she's just 2-speed, so she does make quite a bit of noise. But cameras and like mages and whatnot won't be able to see her.
Op 4 eliminated.
But yeah, that's basically all the changes and all the reworked stuff that I've seen so far. New season, it plays a little different. The ADS changes with pistols, the way that Thatchers and breaching work. Basically trying to make the game a little bit more tactical and make you have to think about what you're actually doing, and making hard breaching a little bit more of an option versus just picking Ash or someone with grenades and just kind of running it down. Breaches are going to be a lot more useful, especially Thermite. Thermite having 3 exo Thermites, honestly insane. But yeah, that's it for today. Make sure to subscribe, drop a comment, and leave a like down below. And hype up the video if you guys want more videos like this. I appreciate you guys stopping by. And yeah, Operation Tenfold Pursuit coming soon.